The Pittsburgh Steelers are in the middle of one of the most fascinating organizational evolutions in the NFL, and the changes that have taken place over the past few off-seasons, particularly since 2023, have fundamentally altered how this franchise operates. Long known for patience, internal development, and a conservative approach to roster building, Pittsburgh has transformed into a team that is far more aggressive, opportunistic, and willing to take calculated risks in pursuit of immediate success. At the center of that transformation is General Manager Omar, whose tenure has been defined by bold decisions, creative roster construction, and a willingness to deviate from tradition when necessary. This shift in philosophy became even more evident during the 2026 offseason. Rather than relying exclusively on the draft to address roster needs, Khan and his staff made a concerted effort to bring in experienced veterans who could stabilize key positions. The logic behind this approach is clear. By filling immediate gaps with proven players, the team can approach the draft with greater flexibility, allowing them to prioritize value rather than desperation. It is a strategy that reflects a modern understanding of roster building, one that balances short-term competitiveness with long-term planning. However, as is often the case with aggressive strategies, not every move has produced the desired results. And perhaps one of the most revealing insights into the team's recent missteps came from within the locker room itself. During an appearance on Not Just Football with Cam Hayward, Deshaun Elliott offered a candid perspective on a decision that, in his view, had a lasting impact on the defense: the decision to let Dante Jackson walk. Elliott's comments were not framed as criticism for the sake of criticism, but rather as an honest reflection on how roster decisions can ripple throughout a team. He pointed to a lack of depth in the secondary over the past 2 seasons and suggested that retaining Jackson could have helped mitigate some of those issues. It is a perspective that resonates when viewed in the context of how the Steelers' defensive backfield has evolved. To fully understand the significance of this situation, it is important to revisit Jackson's role during his time in Pittsburgh. Acquired during the 2024 offseason, Jackson quickly established himself as one of the most dynamic players in the secondary. His ability to generate turnovers made him a constant threat to opposing offenses, and his presence fundamentally changed how teams approached the Steelers' defense. He was not just a contributor, he was a playmaker, someone capable of shifting momentum with a single interception or pass breakup. When paired with Joey Porter Jr., Jackson formed one of the more intriguing cornerback duos in the league. Porter's physical, press-oriented style complemented Jackson's instinctive, ball-hawking approach, creating a balanced and versatile tandem. Together, they made life extremely difficult for opposing quarterbacks, forcing tighter windows and increasing the likelihood of turnovers. But as impactful as Jackson was when on the field, his availability became a growing concern. While he did not miss a significant number of full games, he frequently exited contests early due to minor injuries. These interruptions created instability, forcing the coaching staff to constantly adjust and rely on depth players who were not always prepared for extended roles. Over time, this pattern raised legitimate questions about whether Jackson could be counted on as a long-term solution. From the perspective of Omar, this presented a difficult but necessary decision. Retaining Jackson would have meant committing resources to a player with undeniable talent but uncertain durability. Letting him go, on the other hand, created an immediate void but allowed the team to pursue alternative solutions. Ultimately, Khan chose the latter path, prioritizing flexibility and risk management. Jackson's subsequent performance with the Los Angeles Chargers added another layer of complexity to the narrative. In Los Angeles, he continued to demonstrate his playmaking ability, recording multiple interceptions and achieving career-best numbers in passes defended and completion percentage allowed. His success reinforced the idea that he remained a high-impact player, one who could have continued to contribute in Pittsburgh. Yet, the underlying concerns that influenced the Steelers' decision did not disappear. Jackson's injury history remained a factor, and his usage in Los Angeles was more controlled, potentially reducing wear and tear. This context is important because it highlights the difference between evaluating a player's performance and evaluating their long-term reliability within a specific system. In an effort to replace Jackson's production and stabilize the secondary, the Steelers turned to veteran additions. The signing of Darius Slay and the acquisition of Jalen Ramsey were both high-profile moves that signaled a clear intent. Pittsburgh was going all in on strengthening its defense. On paper, these additions appeared to provide both experience and versatility, addressing multiple needs at once. However, the reality proved far more complicated. Ramsey, while still a talented and accomplished player, struggled to find a consistent role early in his tenure with the Steelers. The team experimented with using him in multiple positions, including outside corner and slot, before ultimately settling him into a role at free safety. While this versatility is typically viewed as an asset, in this case it may have limited his ability to make a consistent impact. Slay's situation was even more challenging. Age and injuries took a toll, leading to inconsistent performance and ultimately resulting in his benching and release before the end of the season. What made this outcome particularly frustrating for the organization was the irony involved. One of the primary reasons for moving on from Jackson had been concerns about durability, yet the players brought in to replace him faced similar issues. As the season unfolded, it became clear that the Steelers' secondary would need unexpected contributions in order to remain competitive. That is where James Pierre and Asante Samuel Jr. entered the picture. Pierre delivered a breakout season, stepping into a larger role and exceeding expectations. Samuel, acquired mid-season, provided an immediate boost with his coverage skills and playmaking ability. Their emergence was not just beneficial, it was essential. Without their contributions, the Steelers' defense could have faced significant challenges. Instead, they helped stabilize the secondary, allowing the team to remain competitive despite the setbacks. Recognizing the importance of these players, the front office made a point of retaining Samuel and reinforcing the position heading into 2026. This decision reflects a broader lesson learned from the previous season. Depth and reliability are just as important as star power. Having elite players at the top of the depth chart is valuable, but sustained success requires a strong supporting cast capable of stepping up when needed. Looking ahead, the Pittsburgh Steelers appear committed to refining their approach. The aggressive mindset introduced by Omar is unlikely to change, but it will likely be accompanied by a greater emphasis on balance. Future moves may prioritize not only talent and upside but also durability, fit, and long-term sustainability. Ultimately, the situation surrounding Dante Jackson serves as a case study in the complexities of roster management. It highlights the challenges of balancing immediate production with long-term reliability, as well as the unpredictable nature of player performance and health. For the Steelers, it is a reminder that even well-reasoned decisions can produce unexpected outcomes. As the team continues to evolve, these experiences will shape how they approach future decisions. The goal remains the same: to build a roster capable of competing at the highest level while maintaining the flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances. And as they move forward into the 2026 season and beyond, the lessons learned from recent years will play a crucial role in determining whether this new, more aggressive era ultimately leads to sustained success. Let us know in the comments if you've enjoyed Omar Khan's work with the Steelers. Thanks for watching and see you soon.